hear a lot of different terms used: detoxification, purification, cleansing. Technically, it's called a purification program. The reason is we don't want to force the body to do anything. We're using foods on this program. And really, we're helping the body facilitate what it wants to do naturally. How it should be normally getting toxins out of the body, but typically it hasn't been able to because of the foods we're eating now. Does anyone know why it's 21 days?
Is it shed your lining?
Well, that's how long it takes to develop a new habit.
Oh.
So what you want to do is really develop some sort of a lifestyle change. Learn new things from this program. Don't do something for 21 days and then completely fall off the horse. Now, of course, you're not going to be able to do everything exactly as you would on the program, but each time I do the program, which is once a year, I learn something new and I continue that. I've actually had a salad and a shake every morning for breakfast for the past year and a half. People think I'm kind of crazy when I do that, but when you know what it's like to eat healthy and eat differently, those things sort of come naturally. And that's what we want you to do from this program, just learn to eat and cook differently. Now, it's also called the Detoxification, Weight Loss, and Cholesterol Management Program. The reason is, when people eat healthy, they cleanse the liver, they eat the foods they're supposed to eat, weight loss, and cholesterol management, and all those things come naturally. It's secondary to the program. It's not why it was designed. But when we're looking at a lot of the chronic diseases, a lot of the issues we have, they're all just part of an underlying cause that's going on in our body. And I'll go through cholesterol and why that's an issue, and fats, good fats versus bad fats, and really the importance of the good fats. I'd like to start with testimonials. And this is from a doctor here in Ohio that had me put this in this lecture for his classes. It says, "My name is Randy, I am 60 years old, and I am 6'6" and weigh 300 pounds. This is the fourth time that I've been on a purification program. I've lost on the average of 9 to 11 pounds each time that I've been on the program, which is not the program's real intent. The program eliminates a lot of your body's toxins. The number one thing it has done for me is eliminate taking blood pressure medicine. It has also helped with the following: stuffing your congested head, aching muscles, less bloating, and giving me more energy throughout the day, as well as a few other things. My biggest concern when I started this program was, would I be hungry? But by following the program's guidelines, this has never occurred. The program has you eating or snacking just about every 2 to 3 hours, which then eliminates ups and downs. To maintain my weight loss, I still drink the protein shakes at least once a day, which can be made a lot of different ways, and I snack on a lot more fruits and vegetables, such as granola bars, chips, etc. By being on this program, you want to exercise more, which will help you eliminate excess weight. Good luck, and I hope this program helps you as much as it did me." Now, the reason we have this patient on here, in every office I do, we'll have me put in different testimonials in there of their own patients, is a lot of patients are able to hit on a lot of those lifestyle changes that we want. One here being weight loss, which of course wasn't the program's real intent, but medication. Medications do have their place. Some people do need them. But if your body can do something naturally, in this case maybe take care of blood pressure, let's look at blood pressure medication. What would happen if someone were to just come off of blood pressure medication? What would happen to their blood pressure? It would go right back up. So was that medication taking care of the foundational cause, or was it just covering a symptom? It was just covering up a symptom. The same thing is true for cholesterol. There's a lot of different reasons for cholesterol in the body, and we want to get to that foundational cause. So what is toxicity? A lot of us have different notions of what toxins are. So I'll go through typical toxins that we think of in the environment, but also ones we don't think of that enter our body every day. How do we become toxic? How can we detoxify, which is the goal of this program, eliminating toxins from the body, and how can we manage our weight and cholesterol properly? Now, actually, we'll have lipid panels up here of pre and post cholesterol tests that the patients have done before and after the program. We can see those numbers. So we live in a toxic environment. And these are what I mentioned when I said these are the chemicals we think of as being toxins. So the World Health Organization estimates that 4.6 million people die each year from causes directly attributable to air pollution. Environmental toxins. In 1989, the EPA estimated in 1 year almost 6 billion pounds of chemicals were either dumped into public sewage or released in the ground, surface, waters, or air. Now, there's several things that go along with this. I use the example of DDT, which was a pesticide, which we're all familiar with now at this point, and what it did to the environment. It was so bad they actually made it illegal. But there is no antagonist for that in nature. It's a man-made chemical. It didn't just go away. It's still found in soil. It's found in the blubber of the mammals up north at the poles. And even though we've made it illegal, countries that still use DDT are still allowed to ship those fruits and vegetables into this country. So they're finding DDT, which messes up the human hormones to a certain extent, is still found in our bodies, years after it's been made illegal. So what can we do knowing that these things exhaust toxic fumes, chemicals, pesticides? If we know they're going to be there, what can we do? What we can do is make sure our body is properly able to eliminate them. And, years ago, we were eating the fruits and vegetables we should have. These chemicals really weren't present, so it wasn't much of an issue. Now it's a huge issue with toxins building up in the environment. So what are Americans eating? This is what we don't think of as toxins. There are a lot of toxins in the food we eat. It says the U.S. allows over 14,000 chemical additives to our food supply. So at our office, we Googled this and we printed out these food additives, and it was well over 20 pages. And a lot of it isn't for nutrient value. What it is so it'll look pretty, it'll last longer on the shelf. There are a lot of chemicals on that list, and there's no nutrient value, anything that's pro-health. It says the average American consumes more than 150 pounds of food additives and 160 pounds of sugar annually. That's an incredible amount of sugar. Now I'm going to show a video that shows the foods we eat and how they actually break down the sugar in the body. Because if you were to ask someone if they eat a lot of sugar, typically they say, well, no, not really. Because they think of the white sugar we put in our coffee or tea. They don't realize that even fruit contains sugar. So we really have to be aware of what we're putting in our body. We use the prevalence of type 2 diabetes as an example of diet and lifestyle. The reason is this. It says from 1980 to 2003, the number of Americans with diabetes more than doubled from 5.8 million to 13.8 million. And what were some of the causes of that, do you think?
Fast foods, convenience foods.
Yes, fast food, convenience food, carbohydrates, things that weren't pro-health. So people like to blame different things for their health. They say bad genes, bad germs, or bad luck. Now genes do play a lot in our health, but ultimately how those genes are expressed has to do with the foods we eat. We have control over what our bodies do. We're not aware of the foods and how they do control our body. But it's really an epidemic, but it has a lot to do with the foods we eat. So this is the least favorite slide in the presentation.
Did you pick those?
I didn't pick this. But in showing you this, I'm not going to pretend like we can't eat these things. With the warmer weather coming up, we're going to barbecue. We're going to have hamburgers and hot dogs. We do eat these things sometimes. What we need to make sure is that our body's eliminating them and make sure that we're aware of what's in them. The hot dogs now are considered carcinogenic. We always knew they weren't bad, they were healthy for us, but why? Well, they're actually cancer-causing. Nitrates in wine. Wine is a toxin for the liver. And generally what we're looking at is white refined carbohydrates. Now what they'll do is they'll strip the good fats, the good vitamins from that food, they bleach the flour, and they add synthetic vitamins back in. Now that's not good for our health. It's very high on the glycemic index, it's very nutrient empty, and we could eat those all day long and not know why we're still hungry. So there's no nutrients in there. Trans fats as well, and we'll go more into fats. Who knows what cereal that is? Fruit Loops, yeah. You know where the Fruit Loop tree is? It doesn't exist. So the problem we have is we're almost, convinced that some of these things are foods when they're actually not. Food is a business, and really our health has declined because of that.